when I was there, there was no credit card. I don't remember any student with a credit card, but because, I remember the first 6 months or whatever I was at the school, my mom tried to send me some money, and she sent it through the bank, officially, and it came through the school, and the school confiscated it and kept it until the end of time and gave it to me when I was going back home. So, when you go on leave, you get money and you hide it so that you can use it, because the expedition, at that time, they used to give us only 5 francs for the 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That sounds very familiar. And I do remember my parents gave me some money, and I wasn't supposed to have it, and I hid that. But I spent it all on there's a little store right across the street from the main building, and I used to go over there and buy chocolate bars, one of those great big long chocolate bars, and with that extra money that I had. So I went through it pretty quick, but yeah, they only gave us so much money, and they checked us to make sure we didn't have any more money. And it was difficult for parents to send money anyway, so, we were all pretty broken. So the cheating part probably didn't work for us at all.
But, did they check you physically? How do you say they checked you,
Well, they would say, well, let me see how much money you got in your wallet. And, I'm sure they didn't strip search it or anything like that, but, and I guess we were pretty honest about it. And, for me, I was broke anyway, so I had the money they gave me, and they could have searched forever. They wouldn't have found any more.
No, that's it, when we were there, the house, only one house, but when I was there was, housemasters, every time we'd invite a couple of, once a month, a couple of students to his apartment and for pizza and wine. That was the first place I tasted wine as a 13-year-old, with Mr. O'Hara. He invited me and another student, for dinner, and we go there and nice set-up table, and we had pizza and wine and conversation with his wife and with him, and it was, it was very interesting. It was nice. It was a change from going down to the...
I can't imagine today sending somebody out on an expedition and not expecting them to cheat, because you have access to credit cards, debit cards, just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But back in those days, we didn't have anything.
Steve, you remember, of course, you were probably required to write a letter home every Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Well, now the kids, the students now have cell phones and so forth, and I don't think they bother. I think they dropped a lot of those things. But I remember, you had to have a stamp on your letter, and it was checked off the list, and everybody had to write home at least once a week.
Well, we had that, and one of the reasons was, and I was over in Chezier Villar from 1957 until 1963, and out of all those 6 years, I only got to talk to my parents on the telephone one time. And back in those days, you'd have to go in a week in advance and set up an appointment, and then they would line it up, and you'd have to keep yourself available for the particular day that the phone company told you that they were going to be able to hook you up. And you had a very, very, very poor quality telephone call, and it was extremely expensive. So I think I talked to my parents one time on the telephone. So things certainly have changed since, those days.